What's up, everybody? Welcome back to Nightmares and Nerdscapes. I'm CJ. Today, we're going to be talking about Bugonia, a wild, really weird film starring Emma Stone, Jesse Plemons, and directed by Yorgos Lanthimos. So, stick around, find out my thoughts. Did I like it? Did it line up with the other weird shit that Yorgos has done?
That was really good. My pulse is racing right now.
So, right off the bat, Bugonia is a weird film. Um, the basic premise is that you have two guys, Jesse Plemons and Aidan Delbus, playing Teddy and Don, respectively. We've kind of gone down this conspiracy theory rabbit hole. Think of it kind of like the reptilian concept that David Icke. I mean, he's Icke, but I don't know if his last name is pronounced that way. Kind of popularized many years ago. And they go through and they actually kidnap Emma Stone's character, Michelle Fuller, put her in the basement, shave her head, and basically start interrogating her to try to get her to take them to her spaceship to basically talk to the Emperor, find out what's going on. And it is fun. It's a blast. I enjoyed it. It is weird. It is just as weird as the other films that Yorgos has done. That being said, I think this one is far more approachable than any of the other films that he's done so far. With Pretty Things, the last one he did, where Emma Stone actually won an Oscar for. I couldn't get past the fact that it was a baby's head in a young woman's body for the entire film. But this one is definitely approachable for most folks. It's about power, it's about paranoia, it's about greed. They touch on environmental collapse and how beliefs kind of twist and remake our own realities. It's a solid look into really the way we impact the environment. And they do it through talking about bees and colony collapse. And it's a really neat approach to it, which I thought was great. I will say the biggest strength that this movie has is its cast. I mean, Emma Stone is outrageously good as Michelle, as should be expected. She's chilling in scenes. She's compelling. She's able to maintain this kind of cool corporate composure, being level-headed and very stern and very boardroom-like. But she's also got in some scenes this kind of eerie, almost ambivalence to everything that's going on, where she's just like, shit, all right, I guess this is what we're doing. It's just really good. She can be very aggressive and very she drives the knife into Plemons' character a couple times just to kind of prove her point and see which way she can go. She goes between pleading and demanding and negotiating. It's a very layered approach, and it leaves you wondering: is she an alien, or is she just this high-powered female executive? Which way does it go? Opposite her, Jesse Plemons gives what I think is one of the best performances of his career as Teddy. He's, part conspiracy sage in that he's very, I don't want to say well read on it because it's a conspiracy, right? But he's very knowledgeable of the factors that build up this conspiracy. He's also very logical in his approach, rather, almost to a fault, which is why it's such a weird frigging conspiracy. But his whole character is grounded in this grief about the loss of his mother, who's played by Alicia Silverstone in a great turn. She doesn't have many lines in this film. I want to say she's only in 3 or 4 scenes, but she does a good job of playing that sort of that foundation for Teddy. And Aiden Delvis, I have never seen this gentleman before. I had never heard of this gentleman before, but he plays Don, Teddy's cousin, and he is without a doubt the most emotionally impactful character in this film. I don't know if he actually has a mental disability, um, but if he doesn't, he plays it in a way that is endearing and charming and sweet, and just he is this lovable, um, kind of counterbalance to Teddy's more sure-footed, not aggressive so much as consistent approach. The human aspect that he brings to this ridiculous situation is just, it makes the film. Had he not been in it, this would have been a completely different movie. I don't think it would have worked for me without him, and it's just a crazy crazy turn for him, and I would love to see him do more. Um, he is a talent and a presence on film that deserves to be seen. And on that alone, I would recommend this film to anyone. Um, but outside of the cast, the tone of this movie is very, very odd. I was going to say awkward, but I don't think that's the right word. It's odd. It's not played like a straight horror movie. Um, so there's no hostile style kidnapping, torture scenes, um, but it's scary. There's no slapstick comedy, no pies in the face, no people running into doors and shit, but it's very, very funny. It's this kind of casual, dry wit that every one of us knows someone who does this, right? They sit around, they don't say a whole lot, but when they say something, it takes you back for a minute, and then you just roar in laughter about what they've done. And that's the approach this movie takes. It's this sardonic humor that has a real edge of violence to it. Like, it's funny, but if it goes any farther, like, some things are gonna go weird. The intensity in this film is something that I think should be talked about, because under the humor, like I said before, the humor kind of edges on violence. There is a very real sense that things are going to go wrong, right? Michelle's language, Emma Stone's language in specific, is very corporate speak. It's very jargon laden. Imagine the person that sits at the head of the table in a boardroom and just keeps talking about synergies, right? And diversity, and that is who she is. But the way she delivers it puts you on edge every time. You're never quite sure what's going on. Um, I wouldn't say there's any major tonal shifts in the film, which is one of the things I was afraid of going into it. I thought it was going to be this kind of wild swinging pendulum between, hyper violence and hyper humor, and then, introspection. But it does a good job, and Yorgos deserves a lot of, well, all the credit for this as the director. He does this great job of blending all three of them all the way through the narrative, and it is masterfully done. I'll put it to you this way: I have not, nor have I ever been, a fan of Yorgos Lanthimos. I have not liked any of his other films. I always thought the messaging was just off. I thought it was kooky. I did not think it was funny. Um, but this one has actually convinced me to revisit his filmography to include Pretty Things, which I absolutely despised. But because of this one, I'm going to give it another shot, and we'll see what happens. Um, but I mean, beyond the thrills and the horror of it and the laugh, it's this really interesting, almost fable or fairy tale that touches on our grasp of or dependency on technology, right? Throughout the film, there's scenes of Teddy riding a bike through town or walking through town, and he's always listening to a podcast or a YouTube video that further confirms his suspicions, right? There is a lot of kind of poking fun at confirmation bias, which is outstanding in this. It's not heavy handed, but it's there and you notice it, right? The visuals are great. Robbie Ryan, the cinematography, does a lot of single point perspectives and wide angle shots, similar to what you saw in Long Legs, where it'll show you an entire table, right? Three people sitting at the table and not a word spoken, but that wide shot showing all three and the expressions across them just ratchets up that tension until finally something will pop, or he won't even give you that release, right? It'll just sit there and go until you need to move. um, it's just damn solid. I think if I were to pick out one favorite scene without spoiling anything, um, there is a scene early on, very early in the film, where Teddy is talking to Dawn about something that they need to do in order to clear their mind to be able to focus on the mission ahead. Um, and it is so realistic in its approach, so human, and so really necessary for the film to work at the level it does, that I would put that scene up amongst any other movie that I've seen this year. Um, it does to This is going to be a weird analogy, but this scene for me reflects connection between people in stressed environments almost as well as the musical scene in Sinners connects music to culture and history. Um, is it as good a scene? No, but it's just as effective in my view. Um, Now, to be fair, there are some points in the movie where it drags. It kind of slogs in the middle act a little bit. That being said, I think that's Yorgos' style, and for me in this one, it worked. It never slowed down so far that I felt bored by it. I was never looking at my watch to see how much time was left, as I do with some movies. It just worked, and I really enjoyed it. So all in all, I mean, this movie is a winner for me. I've seen a lot of folks out there saying that this is movie of the year. I don't know if I'd go that far, but it's definitely in my top 10 right now. I've seen a lot of people talking about how this isn't quite up to snuff with what Yorgos has done in the past, and maybe they're right. Again, I've got to revisit his filmography in order to make that decision. But this one I absolutely loved, and this is for sure a 4 out of 5 star movie for me. I will rewatch this just to see what I've missed throughout the runtime. But I'm interested to hear everybody else's thoughts. It's definitely not a movie for everyone, but those that like movies that kind of challenge you and make you a little eh, um, uh, I'd love to hear what you have to think. So please remember to like, share, subscribe, comment below. I'm interested to hear what all you have to say. And yeah, appreciate everybody checking in. I hope you enjoy the new digs, new intro, new outro, all that good stuff. Thanks to all of our DFP and Patreon subscribers for making this video possible. And until next time, get out there and go see a movie. Cheers.